Hi, I'm Jeff Brown. Today we're going to talk about unlocking financial success and the smart way to diversify in retirement by investing. I believe that risk isn't putting a few eggs in a few baskets. I think success in investing for retirement is built on more solid foundation than that. It's knowledge, it's experience, it's knowing what works and what doesn't. It knows most of all, what you can control and what you cannot control. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you $1,000,000 and you can't put it all in one thing. You can't even put it all in two things. You got to separate it equally in 4 parts. Now, if you were in New York and talking to one of the wing tippers, that's what I call them, you're going to be told stocks, bonds, commodities, blah, blah, yada, yada. Oh, and real estate if you think that's okay. What a bunch of malarkey. Let me tell you the one thing, and I've never owned a stock in my life. I'm speaking from experience. The thing that I always ask people is they tell you you're going to make 7% a year in the long run. And I've double checked it, triple checked it. That's what you're going to make in the stock market. Now, that said, when was the last time you knew anybody that once, twice, 3 times in a row predicted when the stock market was going to go down? Take your time, no rush. You can't do it. And it's just crazy to have your money in the stock market, especially when you're 10 years from retirement, say, and you've saved up $2 million and it goes down 30%. Give me a break. Okay? You have to be serious about what you're doing and understand it. Most people just do not understand everything about every investment they're in. That's why it's so important to talk to an expert who's done the research, etc., etc. Now, I know about EIULs. I know more than enough to get me killed, but I'm not an expert on EIULs. I have an expert. I have an expert on several things, and I've become very knowledgeable in them. But I'm not an expert on those, and that's why I refer clients to them when it's time to go to them. Understand? It's nothing to be ashamed of. I do it myself. Bottom line is, the stock market kills. Let's climb in the Wayback Machine, okay? Let's take a look at what's going on back in the day, say 1999. And we're going to take a long, hard look at it and see what's up. Would you have spent your money on anything but real estate in 1999 in San Diego or places like it? Not me. Things were just going crazy in San Diego, and they still are. It's just now that they're crazy. The good news is the houses themselves are worth $1 million. The bad news is nobody can afford them. Now, all the places that I mentioned earlier in another broadcast about, I've been Phoenix, Idaho, Texas, Southern Utah. They were all great emerging markets at one time. That's the key phrase, at one time. When they're done, you have to move on. There's no question about it. And it's knowing when to move on. I'm not saying necessarily sell them. I'm saying don't buy any more there. If you're going to buy more real estate, move to another emerging market, if there is one. Now, let me tell you how it works in practice. People go to the stock market because they're told it's safe, what it's done the last 80 years, et cetera, and they go for that. And it slowly but surely goes up. And the problem is They're relying on people they met yesterday. They don't know what's going on. He's not an open book. He just tells you what to do. How many people do you know, show of hands here, that have had a 401k for 20 years in the market and have gone up to 7 figures? I don't see many hands. And the reason is they did that kind of investment practice because they were so fearful and they didn't know how to do it or what to do. So they just listened to the guy that was smarter than they were about the stock market. It doesn't work that way. Let me explain using a couple of sports analogies so you get it. What you're doing there is you're investing not to lose. And when you invest not to lose, you're not investing to make decent return, but in safety. In baseball, we call that playing not to lose. So you do all kinds of stuff that makes no sense. You bunt when it's not called for. You do all kinds of things like that, and it doesn't work. In football, when it's 4th and 6 inches, you're on defense calling the play. Do you call a regular defense, or do you put 8 people on the line stopping the run and 3 hanging back for the pass that probably won't happen? See what I mean? It's playing not to lose. And that's exactly what happens is you may not lose, but you're not going to win. Get it? Don't believe me? Do you believe Warren Buffett and George Soros, 2 gigantic billionaires that have been investing forever and winning? Okay. One of the things they say is fear in investing is not a winner. You cannot invest fearfully. It just doesn't work. And people think it works sometimes simply because they're doing it now because they've overcome their fear. No, they haven't. They're just calmer. And the bottom line is you don't win that way. The investor who says they haven't lost money is one of 2 things. Either they started investing last month or they're liars. There's not another choice. Bottom line is you cannot tell me you haven't lost. I've lost. I know all kinds of people who have lost. I saw people come back from Texas in the last part of the century that were starting with $200,000, which was a lot of money in the 90s, and they came back with less. And that was because the economy in Texas hadn't changed from being an oil-based economy only. They were never diversified, ever. Well, now they're diversified, and voila, we're making money there in real estate because whenever there's a downturn in oil, the economy doesn't go into a deep depression in Texas anymore. Make sense? See, it's what you know that makes the difference. If you don't remember anything about this show, remember this. It's the knowledge that keeps you away from too much risk. And if you don't have the knowledge, admit it to yourself. You need to find somebody that has that expert knowledge. And I've heard people define experts all day long for years, and they love mine better. An expert isn't somebody who can answer all your questions. An expert is somebody who can answer questions you would never know to ask in 100 years. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That way you're never investing in ignorance. And ignorance is what ruins retirements right and left. Simply put, it's called not playing to lose. Bottom line is you need an expert when you're investing for retirement. And if it's just in real estate, more power to you. But If you can invest in 2 or 3 other things that are very safe, some of them even tax-free, smile. You're going to win, and you don't have to worry about it. But you cannot keep your ignorance out there and invest based on that ignorance, not knowing that's what you did. Now, you call me up, you go to my site, get my phone number, and set an appointment. I'll be here. Catch you later.